Whether you are part of a team or lead a team, you can often find yourself in a situation where you are having to ask people to focus on something in particular, a task, a topic, a figure on a piece of paper. Maybe you are in a meeting and you raise a topic, and the topic gets lost amongst all the other topics and discussions and talking points that are raised during that meeting. And you want to bring the focus back to this particular area. This is a situation that can happen to anyone at any time, and it can often be difficult to bring people's attention back to what you want them to focus on, what you want them to work on, what you want to be achieved during this meeting. So in today's video, I want to give you 10 phrases you can use in meetings with clients, business partners, or your colleagues to help focus on a particular point or area or topic. Not all of these are direct synonyms for the word focus or please focus, so they shouldn't be used as such. You cannot just replace the word focus with the examples I'm about to give you. You also need to change the sentence structure or the context, or in some examples, even what you are referring to will change. So don't just note down these new phrases, but also note down the context in which you should use them. So starting off with, we have dedicate. Dedicate. Now, dedicate can be used in a way that shows we are focusing specific time, energy, resources, people, funds, budget on a particular area, topic, or idea. It demonstrates that you want to focus on these particular areas and you want to use certain resources to help focus on those areas. So, for example, instead of saying to your team, we need to focus on improving the end of year sales figures, you could say, we need to dedicate all resources, all energy, all time to the end of year sales figures, to improving the end of year sales figures. Or maybe you need a particular amount of people to work on something, to focus on something in order for it to be finished by the deadline. You could say, I'm going to need 3 people to dedicate their time and energy to this part of the project. So instead of I need 3 people to focus on this, I need 3 people to dedicate their time to, or their energy to, or their resources to. I need you to dedicate all of your energy to project A. Any other project can wait. You're emphasizing the fact that what you want them to focus on is more important than anything else and has very high value to you. You could use it in a group as well to say, we need to dedicate our time and resources to X, Y, Z. We need to dedicate as many of our team as possible to finding new leads, to contacting new clients, to reaching out to existing customers. Our second one today is drive. Drive. Now, I know you've heard me talk about drive in terms of being driven, to have drive, to be motivated, to want to move forwards, to want to progress. But this time, the way we are using the word drive is almost like to push something forwards, a project, an idea. So if you want to tell your team, I need everyone to focus on this particular aspect, this section of the project, you could say, we are going to need to drive this part of the project forward. Or we need to drive all of our energy and resources into seeing this project through to the end. Or you could ask someone as a question, instead of, can you focus on customer service? You could say, I need you to drive the customer service aspect of the project. I need you to drive the project forwards. I need you to focus on customer service, moving forwards, contacting new customers. Catherine, if you and your team could drive the market research, focus on commitment, commitment. Now, this is a fantastic one to use. I really like this one because what you're asking for from everyone is all of their time, energy, effort, resources. And you can use it in a very similar way to focus. So instead of saying, I'm going to need everybody to focus in today's meeting because, you could say, I'm going to need your commitment today as we have a huge project that needs to be finished. Or, you were very committed on our last project. I'm going to need the same commitment from you for this one. The same focus, the same energy, the same motivation, the same drive. Attention to detail. Attention to detail. Now, I know you've heard this before if you work in any kind of office environment. Attention to detail means, exactly as it sounds, you pay attention to the very small details. But when asking somebody to focus on something, you can ask them to pay attention to detail. Or we need to be very careful to pay attention to detail because this project is going to be looked at by a lot of our head office, a lot of our bosses, and it needs to be perfect. Your brief is fantastic. I give you the go-ahead to move forwards, to carry it out, to do the brief, to do the project that you've briefed me on. But please make sure to pay attention to detail. Please be careful about attention to detail. Or please send me another brief with focus on attention to detail. What you're saying is, even the smallest minute parts of the project need to be looked at. Don't miss anything out. The team is doing a fantastic job. Just make sure you're paying attention to detail. Focus on those small points that could be missed. Focal point. Focal point. Now, this is a very nice one to use in a meeting or in any setting where you have a group of people listening to what you're saying. Our focal point is. The focal point of today's meeting is. This area will be our focal point. This customer will be our focal point. Something I want you to work on, our focal point for next time is. So as the name suggests, focal comes from to focus. So it means the point that you want people to focus on, the number one priority. Everything else is second best. The focal point is the key part here that we need to look at. I may say to you as a student of mine, if we had a one-on-one lesson, what is your focal point for these lessons? What do you want me to focus on to really help you improve your English language? Likewise, our sixth phrase here is highlight, to highlight, and it can be used the same way as focal point. Something I want to highlight today is, or something that Catherine highlighted last meeting, last lesson, last time is. Something the client highlighted was. So something that somebody pointed out and they want more attention drawn to this area, either because it's a very important point or it needs improvement or it worked very well last time. If I'm working through something with a student, pronunciation, for example, or perfect answers to an IELTS test, when I give them their feedback, I might say, something I want to highlight is, meaning something I want you to focus on and something I need to point out to you. Observe, observe. Our seventh phrase here is observe. Now this can either be used as a I need you to observe this, I need you to focus on this, I need the team to observe this area, or it can be used as this area needs to be observed. I like what you're doing, keep working on it, but please be careful to observe the budget. So please be careful to have the budget in mind, focus on the budget and not go over budget. Maybe a client has sent a brief through and you're looking through it and a colleague says to you, is there anything we need to observe? Is there anything we need to focus on, pay attention to, be aware of? Adopt, adopt. Now this is one of my favorite phrases because we can use it in so many different ways. So instead of saying, let's focus on this, you could say, with this project going forwards, we need to adopt a certain mindset. We need to adopt a focused or adopt a driven mindset. With the following project, we need to adopt a more sustainable approach to the project. So we need to come up with, focus on a more sustainable way of doing this project, of going forwards with this project. In business, it's important to adopt a customer-centric mindset for working with customers in order to see success, meaning you need to focus on a customer-based mindset, customer-centric mindset. So we can use adopt to say we are focusing on, but also using this kind of mindset, this way of working, this way of thinking, this way of moving forwards. We're nearly there. We have 2 more. So I hope you're still focused. I hope you're still dedicating your time to me. And I hope you're still tuned in. So our 9th one is tune in. You can either use this to talk to people. I need you all to tune in to this next part. Or I need everybody to tune in during this meeting because it will benefit all of you. Or the CEO has changed a few things within our business. I need you all to tune in now so you don't miss anything. You're asking people to focus. You're asking people to tune in. You can use it in a very similar way to the way we did observe and adopt. We need to tune in on the sustainable side of things with this next project. We need to focus on, we need to care about the sustainable side of things. We really need to tune into our customers' demands so that we don't make the same mistakes we did last time. We need to focus on, we need to pay attention to our customers' demands. The way you handled that situation was perfect. Next time, make sure the whole team is tuned in so you don't have to repeat yourself again and again. You are either tuning in, focusing in on something, or you are asking others to tune into, to focus on something. And our last one, drill home. If I said to you, I want to drill home the fact that you can use all of these in a business meeting and none of them will be unprofessional, how does that sound to you? What does it sound like I'm saying? To drill home comes from the military expression of drills, to repeat something again and again until you become fitter. It also comes from the DIY tool, a drill, where you drill down deeper into something. So to drill home means to really enforce, really have an impact, really focus on something. In the last meeting, our manager really drilled home how important it was that we don't go over budget. Meaning they really focused on it. It was so important. They made sure everybody understood how important it was we didn't go over budget. Or maybe you are giving a presentation and you want people to realize how important something is that you are talking about. Maybe you recently completed a project that didn't go as well as you hoped it would. Maybe there was a miscommunication between the client and the team. You tell your team, I want you to go out, find a new client, but make sure you drill home to that client that we need a full understanding before we agree to take on this project. So you make it clear, you make it very obvious that we both need to be on the same wavelength, the same level, the same understanding. Perhaps you have a client that is asking for a budget lower than what is actually possible. I know my dad had this all the time. He was an architect and people would want houses, beautiful houses, for a lot cheaper than what they were actually going to cost. And he would have to drill home to those clients that if they wanted a house at the cost that they were requesting, they would need to get rid of some of the more beautiful areas of the home. Swap natural wood out for artificial wood, or get rid of their third jacuzzi. Drilling home is focusing in on, is making clear, is making obvious to a team, a group of people, a one person, a client, about something. Perhaps you're in trouble at work, you've done something incorrect, and your manager says, I do want to drill home that your work is usually fantastic, but I need to talk to you about this one occasion. Meaning, I want to make it clear, obvious to you that this is not something that happens all the time. Your work is usually fantastic, but there was one time you did something wrong and we need to talk about it. So that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this. 10 new phrases on how to talk about focusing, asking a team to focus, telling somebody to focus on something in particular. However you use these phrases, I hope they are helpful to you. Let me know down below which ones you will go ahead and use, which ones you like the sound of, and I will see you in our next video. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye.